What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
I'm Brock, and once again, we're joined by Jeff Manning,
I am sometimes Jeff. Well, actually, I'm always Jeff, but I'm sometimes present.
whoever
Unless I'm
that
busy
is.
big timing.
It's true. Big time Jeff Manning. Tonight, we're going to continue our quest through Mega Tournament 2102 with Wildcat and Mace.
Wildcat is one of my favorite 80s movies, and Mace is one of my favorite rappers, so we're in for a treat.
There you go.
I don't know the Wildcat. Oh, the Wildcat with Goldie Hawn.
Yeah, I was just kidding. It's not really one of my favorite 80s movies, but I think it had Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes both in it, too.
Took me. I haven't. I didn't even think of that movie since
I just remember the end of it where they're singing in like Wildcat. Whoop, 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 Wildcat.
What a
But anyway,
star-studded.
it was. It just didn't know it yet.
Yeah, it's like The Outsiders.
Well, it's not Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Now you're just getting off
No,
topic.
not those Outsiders.
No, I got you. Haven't got to give you any grief in a while, so I got to
The
make up
real
for it.
Outsiders.
Hey yo,
Stay golden, Pony Boy.
it did have both Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson in it, just for the record. I thought it did.
Nice.
We can start with little-headed Wildcat on giant body.
I mean, the artwork, yeah. I mean, and what it's kind of at an angle, like the photographer took a side shot and was like, I didn't realize it was going to come out like that.
I can't get him to focus. There we go.
You got a big gap above him.
And it looks like somebody just photoshopped a little head on a giant body.
I'd like to think that he's like George of the Jungle in it, and there's like a vine off to the side that he's holding on to, and that's why he's at an angle.
That probably was the intent.
We'll go with that.
I don't know.
Well, he's part of the deadliest tandem ever, especially when he's got that little creature that.
Yeah, that little guy.
Tarak has with him or whatever, you know. It's gonna be awesome.
But he got a significant upgrade.
He did.
From his previous card to this one. 5 years later. The raw rating for his original card was 612, and this one is 2531. So
that's quite the jump.
Yeah, he even gets upgraded again, though. I didn't realize that he never got downgraded. He's kept getting better.
That's
because does anyone?
Oh, good.
I would say, did anybody ever figure out who Rawl was so we can talk to him and go, hey, how do you devise your rating?
The formula is published somewhere.
The formula's on it. The formula's on one of the threads.
Oh. Yeah.
That's not in question.
But how did he come up with it? I guess would be the question.
That I can't answer. I'm sorry.
Come on, Jeff.
I'm sorry. I don't have all the answers. I can only read.
That your finger was on the pulse of the GWF community.
Back in the NOM, it was. I haven't been active in a while. I didn't even make Galacticon this year. But, you know, sad story.
All of our streaks get broken eventually.
Kids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a streak. But anyway, you wanted to hear his update?
Yeah, that's what we've been looking forward to.
All right. Wildcat is getting older, but he's still the wild, risk-taking underdog that the fans love to watch. He may not win the heavyweight belt, but he doesn't give up easy and he can take plenty of punishment. He may bleed buckets, but his opponents never have an easy match or an easy win against him. Wildcat and Viper have formed a tag team called Hunter's Moon, and Tarek may be on to something with this pair. Both are young wrestlers who are entering their prime, and both are steadily becoming big fan favorites. Can Hunter's Moon become a successful GWF tag team? Is this the unlikely beginning of a young tag team that could make a difference in the GWF over the next 5 or 10 years? The Demons of Hydra will have plenty to say about it. And there you go. His finisher did get an upgrade, too. Now you roll 2 dice. If the roll is 2 to 7, then the move works, and the opponent rolls his pin. If the roll is 8 through 12, the Wildcat misses, and the opponent rolls on level 3 offense. Still the Wildcat strike, though.
So pretty good odds. +3.
Oh, +3? Okay.
Yeah, it was a pretty deadly move when it was introduced. Wasn't it a plus floor, but he didn't hit it as much originally?
Yeah.
There's also an option when he's getting thrown out of the ring that he can hit the finisher too.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Only on this card, though.
Yeah. And when he misses, he just the opponent rolls on level 3 offense, so that's pretty bad. Was it always that, or did he? They didn't used to put the stuff on the back of the card, the consequences. They just would say roll. He had to have the handbooks handy. But this one actually says roll on level 3. The opponent rolls on level 3 offense when he misses.
Yeah, like I'm currently using this Wildcat. It's been about 4 months since I've wrestled, since I've used the game. Just get caught up doing other things. But I don't have him as Hunter's Moon. I know, shocker there.
Ooh, you probably even know he was with Tarek.
No, he still managed with Tarek.
You're like, Savage Kingdom, what's that?
I use the Savage Kingdom. I liked the Savage Kingdom. Savage Kingdom were like 3-time Intergalaxian tag team champions for me. I know, secondary tag title. Jeff's like, oh.
That's not even a real title at this point. They're just giving them a belt to hold up their pants at that point.
But they did quite well. I just retired Stalker, and I have him teaming up with KO Keller. Just to throw you for a loop there.
He's retired. I don't know if you know that. Spoiler alert.
For me.
So what level are they on for you out of your 3 feds?
They're my second tier.
Are the Demons of Hydra also in the second tier?
They are, but they are feuding the Titans.
What a letdown.
Titans versus Masked Assassins. It's a classic feud. But we're not here to talk about the Titans. We're here to talk about Wildcat.
I didn't even bring up the Titans. I brought up the Demons of Hydra. So, who is feuding with them in the official book?
But they're Masked Assassins.
I did like how the description says he just gets beat up and sometimes finds a way to win.
Bleeds buckets.
He bleeds buckets. He does have 3 downs on level 3 defense, which is pretty rough, but he's got a 4-1 pin.
Yeah.
So it kind of balances it out.
He's the Tommy Wildfire Rich of the GWF. He'll just bleed buckets and find ways to win.
It's the best. It's got a C ropes rating for a high flyer. That seems a little odd.
Well, yeah, the ropes aren't based on high flyers. They're based on strong people that can, play defense on the ropes.
Nope.
Fast guys should have a good rope rating.
They should. Just don't think they do.
That's one thing. Next time we get Tom on, we got to ask him, Tom,
how do you determine this?
Yeah. I understand ring, some guys are good, tough. You're not going to see a gladiator with a C ring ever.
Right.
Actually, I don't think there's a gladiator with a B. I think they're all A's.
Probably.
Well, now we're not going to talk about gladiators.
So, I know Jeff's just starting in this area.
I'd be there already if I wouldn't have appeased my fans by adding an extra 4 cards a game month. But they wanted more matches, so they're also like more titles. I'm like, whoa, guys, whoa. Matches will do. Titles, probably not.
So, you should just be like Vince McMahon and not give the people what they want.
This is good stuff. I edited for the younger crowd.
That's
but anyway, okay. I mean, I'm looking forward to using the new cards here. I'll be using them soon, but I'm just not there yet because I played 2119 to 2130, and then I went back and started my early classics 2074, and I'm in 2101, October of going into November.
There we go.
So I'll be using these guys soon, and I'm starting to bring in some of the storylines now.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to inch forward, so you'll see some of these guys mentioned here shortly in my Fed if you follow along.
Very cool. Sweet. Are we
Sorry,
gonna?
you guys threw me for a loop on the Mount Rushmore tonight, and I didn't have it beforehand, so I'm kind of like researching to try to
We
jog
we,
my
we
memory.
never we very rarely get that information ahead of time, Jeff.
I know. I want it to be raw and I want it to be filtered, like off the top of the dome. But I didn't watch bad stuff, so it's hard to do an anti Mount Rushmore off the top of my head. I'm like, if I didn't like it, I wasn't gonna watch it. But anyway, so here we go. I didn't want to. Sorry, spoiler alert. If you're looking ahead for what we're gonna talk about, we're gonna talk about something bad.
Brock, did he do any for you?
Not that I remember.
I don't even know if I played with him.
Probably didn't.
Probably went, look at that little head. No, can't use this card.
It's pretty cool though.
And what's his agility? I think it's a 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
0 agility plus 2 power.
Yeah.
C rope, B turnbuckle, B ring, A death jump. So
Yeah, he's just somebody that was just, well, he's currently average.
mm-hmm.
He's just fighting to stay into the second tier. He'll never make GWF. He'll never, I don't know how good his third card will be.
Whoa, guy. We're talking GWF. Just because we have like this 18 layered cake you're serving up every month doesn't mean we're not talking GWF. I'd like to think that your other feds are still GWF. They're just lower tier. Because I mean, they can get promoted and relegated, right?
Yep.
So technically, it's a GWF federation. It's just not the top tier.
Yeah, that is true. I just can't see him getting promoted any further.
His final card has 3340 raw rating, so
and his Wildcat strike might impress you. You might just call him up for the pizzazz ass, and he's willing to bleed.
He is buckets.
Red equals green,
Mm-hmm.
But we can slow down on him and switch over to Mace.
Check this guy out.
That's heel Mace.
I mean, he's not heel yet. He's still a New Order and War, right? They're still the good guys.
What did that baby cow do?
He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's Mace.
What is it? What does the book say about Mace?
Oh, Mace has made so many enemies lately that he's devoting himself more to singles action so that he can settle some scores, and Holocaust tops his list. Mace has perfected the power bomb like no GWF wrestler. With his incredible power, Mace has turned the move into a virtual death sentence. He's meaner and more vengeful than ever before, which is the opposite of finesse type wrestlers like Raven and Drags. And Mace's goal is for the New Order to take their place as the greatest tag team in the GWF. They're still feuding with Gladiators, Generation X, and he's got a personal feud with Holocaust. That's right about it. It does talk about his finisher a little bit. Mace has become the master of the power bomb. In singles action, he throws his opponent into the ropes, scoops him up over, and wham! He calls it Mace's little helper. Say hello to my little friend. In tag matches, Mace and Drags have developed a more consistently potent finisher than Holocaust. It's called Decimation. Drags performs a back body drop on the opponent with the opponent's momentum falling downward. Mace catches him and delivers the deadly power bomb. Yeesh! What a hobby this guy's got. To add insult to injury, Mace often opens his matches with an obnoxious pulling of his opponent's hair and a double poke in the eyes, a la Mo of the Three Stooges. I did not see that coming. Does he really? Is that one of his level 1 moves?
It's hair pull and finger poke. It says number 1.
Love it, love it.
First
I did
move
not
on the
know
card.
that yet. I'm pumped for that. Whoop, 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 whoop. Wonder if he makes that noise.
He's going to now.
Yeah, he does now. Can we get some sound effects?
It says a la. It's in the book.
I know, a la Mo. Apparently, we have a lot of dated references in our books in the future.
Well, Tom is a Three Stooges fan, so.
Whoop, 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 whoop. I wonder if he did that whenever he rolled that move, like as you're playing.
Now, so Mace is a good guy. Isn't Holocaust a good guy as well?
No, Holocaust at this point was a tweener, kind of a bad guy. He teamed up with CPC. so he wasn't really in the good graces anymore.
Okay. So for me, this card got relegated. They couldn't work as a tag team, and I did have them, bicker and squabble, so they lost some matches due to that. And Mace got relegated down to the NGA. Just as a young up and coming star got moved up by the name of Jack of Diamonds, and they just kind of I did the Greek gods things where Octagon kind of, or it'd be like Proteus and Wolf teaming up. So Mace would be the wolf, that angry guy, and Jack of Diamonds is the young, cool, calm, collected rookie that can calm him. And so they formed a decent tag team, and they won my Intergalaxian tag team 3 times. Just got bumped up to the GWF after 2 years, and have been contending for the heavyweight championship.
See, I don't know what to do with this card because, like, guys like this, he's focusing on a singles thing, but he's also in a tag team. I like my division.
He's gonna tag finish, right?
rankings, so it's like I'll probably leave him in a tag team.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be some 2-on-1s or something with Holocaust mouthing off or something, but predominantly it'll be still New Order. I won't probably split them up too much unless he gets a push in something like the Rumble or something, or maybe it's like a surprise opponent on a weekly card, not on a pay-per-view or premium live event as we call them these days. PLEs. But to put into perspective the Holocaust thing, he's actually managed by Renard B. Guile right now with Matador and Ram in 2102. In the book, officially.
No, like I said, I did split them up, and I hate it when you see it on TV. You just know they're just gonna break up at some point.
Yeah,
and that's what I had Mace do. Mace he couldn't handle them anymore.
Well, everybody gets tired of everybody at some point.
Yep,
it's true.
I mean, I can't stand you guys, but here I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you skip a few weeks.
I do. I gotta have a break every now and again. They call it a mental health break these days.
And then Brock, any recollection?
The old Mace, not this Mace.
MA$E.
Yeah. Or Mace from what was it? Retribution.
Oh gosh, that was a missed opportunity.
It was.
Some great wrestlers thrown aside for a stupid gimmick.
Mm-hmm. None of them ever recovered from it.
Nope.
Especially Slapjack.
I listened recently. I think it was a podcast where he was talking. One of the guys was talking about. I think it was. Help me out, Dominic Djokovic or whatever his name was. Dijak, yeah. Sorry, I
T-Bar.
T-Bar. He talked about the different guys he pitched to be the leader of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were just like, nope, it's Mustafa Ali. And he's like, okay, we can do that. And then they didn't do anything with it. It was like, well, that was stupid.
It could have been good. Could have been good.
Yeah, I mean, it could have done something, especially when they had like the little vignettes with the cutting in disruption kind of thing. Like, you always get a little bit of appeal there. Solid wrestlers, but man,
yeah,
what a bad follow through.
Mm-hmm.
They got lost in the shuffle.
Brock's
booking them. Brock's booking.
They did.
I forgot I made them a group.
But when you have guys like this, it is interesting that you have a guy who is going to turn at some point. But do you turn them or do you leave them?
I leave them. I make most of my turns happen on the timeline of the book. Kind of, it might happen in November or December, but it might not happen until January, February, or March. But it's going to happen in that window, usually in that like 5-6 month window.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be like, oh, it's January 1st, and now he's bad, and so is this guy, and so is this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it'll come up at some point. He'll get DQ'd, or his team will lose, and he'll throw a fit or something in that time frame that I'll be like, oh, this is the perfect time to turn him.
Right. Especially when you know it's coming.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
why
that's what I do.
I usually read the next year's book starting in October, so I can lead into it those final 3 months of the previous year if I want to, or I can postpone until a little bit into the next year.
Yeah, I knew it was coming up, and I had them turn, but I didn't want them to turn bad. I just wanted them to break up. It wasn't it wasn't amicably.
Eh?
And but yeah, they just had enough of each other, and he just left the group, and he got relegated, and then when they did come up, they did rejoin war, but he didn't. He brought his old tag partner, like he brought Jack of Diamonds with him.
I think that this brings up an interesting point, though. If anybody's listening and wants to leave a comment, especially like, do you have swerves in like a different timeline? Like, because I use that 6 month window. Not much happens in those other 6 months. They're pretty steady. You might see hints of things. I might hint at things just to keep it interesting, but I only do those swerves in like that October to March kind of window. I don't know if there's other people that do it throughout the year, or just whatever the dice roll, and that's what I roll with. So that'd be something interesting to hear from other people. Like, how do you do it, or do you do it?
Yeah, it makes sense because that's how the real wrestling world operates.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't want to have, okay, I got 1 month of excitement. Everything happens in this 1 month.
Yeah, I think they could
January.
really, like, especially today, like the modern sets, they could definitely do stuff like that through Promoter Prime. Like, I'd almost like to see like a game edition get released quarterly throughout the year, just so like
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
the twists and turns happen as
Well,
live.
in the old books we had press conferences, and some of them had dates.
Yeah, they used to do that.
So I mean, you could kind of go by that. Although this year I don't think they didn't have dates. It was just press conferences. No dates associated. But in years past, I know some of them had dates you could go by. So
And
I mean, you could go by that.
I was a big fan of the press conference. I like that format better.
Yeah, it made things more interesting to me too than the straight up story mode. I kind of feel like our job is to write the story. The press conferences were nice to see personalities.
Told you where your guy was supposed to land and everything, but
yeah. Now we call those media scrums.
Yeah. Because everybody gets different arcs and different ideas on how they want to, either their swerves and turns. And it's interesting to see how people get from point A to point B.
Yeah. I mean, because if you just played by the book and how those feuds play out, like the Animen and Gladiators have feuded for what, 75 years at this point, or something like that.
Peace in the Middle East, or in Andromeda, whatever.
Just rotate new players in, like, why won't the Gladiators just go after the FDF or something,
Well, like, there was I'll tell you one of mine, and it's kind of a spoiler alert in my Fed. It's going to be, at least because you guys haven't read it yet, but I've been writing it. I don't usually use the women's wrestlers very much, as you know, because they don't have a huge roster, and it kind of frustrates me. But I wanted to bring in Supernova next year, 2102. So in this month, my idea was to have a magazine publish an article put out by an anonymous tip, obviously Morpheus eventually, that Omega is a deadbeat dad and he actually has a daughter. Like, that's not been brought up at all. So he's going to try to tarnish Omega's image. And that's what's going to make Omega bring Supernova into the fold. Like, no, I was just training her. I'm still the same old Omega. I wanted to keep her protected from all this. Like, that was my idea to introduce her. Was like, there's got to be a magazine or something, like a smut magazine that's like, Omega, deadbeat dad. Like,
when you said smut magazine, I thought it was a different kind of Supernova spread or something.
Yeah. Maybe
he's on
so.
He's on the cover of the Inquirer.
Warner, if you get a request for a drawing, it's not my fault. I did not put that out there.
You did.
No, I just. Well, what do you call those magazines then? The
tabloid.
Tabloid. Okay, sure. We'll go with that.
I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of what I thought. Like, how am I going to introduce the character? Because she's not going to be a big part of my Fed, but it needs to affect it. And the only feud that it makes sense to affect is somebody gave out this tip about Omega being a deadbeat dad. Who could it have been? Like, I mean, obviously Morpheus says maybe I'll make it somebody else. Maybe I'll roll for it and see if it's somebody else. But Morpheus is the obvious one,
Mm-hmm.
and I want their feud to continue more than just.
And he would
Hey,
know. He would
yeah,
know all
exactly.
about her.
I've been around you forever, man. We were tag team
Mm-hmm.
that got rid of Dorado Sundown. Like,
Yeah.
I
Makes
was
sense.
at her. I was there when she was born. I'm the Godfather. We could have a whole Rey
He's the
Mysterio and
father.
Eddie Guerrero situation. Is Supernova really Morpheus's?
It's possible.
They'll have custody over Supernova on a pole match. Or something. Anyway, no, but I want to think of different ways to introduce characters more so than just and here's so and so.
Mm-hmm.
That's just some people are going to have that debut. We've seen it, and I'm a huge WWE fan. I see a lot of uneventful debuts. I also see some major debuts. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to look at the next year and see how you want to introduce these people and what role they're going to play.
Well, now with Vince McMahon out of the way, they're able to like bring up these guys past, like, oh, he was a star in Japan before.
Yeah,
Which
it's been.
GWF really doesn't have that either, though. They
They
don't really
don't.
mention
I mean,
other
every now and
feds.
again, you'll see something about the CWF or the
Dimension X or
Dimension X stuff. Yeah, but it's not like this guy's a seasoned veteran. We used to have the POW, Pleiades Outlaw Wrestling, I believe it was.
And then was it the Aryan Wrestling Federation where Terminus was from?
Yeah, and that's really what I would like the COTG wiki kind of expand to, is to include these types of things. Like, I've had trouble. I like to use celebrities a lot lately. I have trouble coming up with celebrities, so I make up my own that are based on real life celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
and just to hear the other federations or other interactions or other, that to me I find fascinating. Like, they're not official characters, but they can make an impact slightly. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a Mr. T thing, Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's a big part of wrestling lore. He only had what, 2 matches?
Yeah.
I mean, a few other
WrestleMania 1
promos
and
and
2,
stuff.
though.
Yeah, that's it. But he's a part of wrestling now. He's still
Mm-hmm.
released in wrestling card sets. Like, there's Mr. T cards.
Toys, video
Yep.
games.
So I mean, stuff like that. I'd like to build that. What they call that, canon. I guess it
And
would
the
be.
celebrities have always had a place in wrestling.
Oh yeah, and I think they're needed. Like, we had that whole Raw series where it had guest
Yeah.
GMs for a long time. Like,
Every
I've
week.
got I think just in the last couple of years, let's see, I've created one. I have a list on my phone I keep.
Yes. Make cards for all of them.
I have 11 different celebrities that have made appearances
That's cool.
in the last couple of years, and they're based on different people. Conor McGregor, Joe Namath, Donald Trump, Butterbean, Lincoln Park, Michael Strahan, Peter
have Shaq?
Grant. Huh?
Did you have Shaq?
No, I had Joan Crawford, Mike Tyson.
Joe Crawford.
Yeah. Brian Hernandez Jr. and let's see, Christian McCaffrey so far.
Nice.
So just different people that have. I mean, they're random. I don't know. I don't even remember how I come up with them. I think I just have an idea in my head, and I look up a celebrity that's similar, and I'm like, okay,
That's
this would
fun.
fit that idea. And then I come up with a name that's based on them, loosely based on something about them. So a lot of that, a lot of middle names, a lot of where they were born, a lot of
Like billionaire Ted type deal.
well,
The
like
Ted
Conor
Turner?
McGregor was Declan Limerick.
Declan.
Yeah. Joe Namath was obviously Milky Way Joe instead of
Milky Way
Broadway Joe. Yeah, he was. Yeah, my picture was that he'd have a fur coat and the sunglasses and the long hair, and he's a Broadway Joe, but no, he's Milky Way Joe. Stuff like that. Butterbean was rice cake. Same story. Just went on a diet eating rice cakes. So I mean, all kinds of stuff like that. Just
That's fun.
stuff I
And
find
there's a
interesting.
place for that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I'd like to see in Promoter Prime. Just like you can make a card for like Rice Cake where he
Yeah.
wrestles, like
Well,
if he lands a knockout punch, he'll knock you out. But
Butterbean was in the Brawl for It All, and that's kind of how I used him. Was boxer versus wrestler. We've got this guy trained. I don't even remember who he went up against. I just used him for a little like 1 month thing where Rice Cake was there. No, I meant like on my Fed.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember who Rice Cake went up against. So I'm pretty sure I used Billy Joe Boxer to train him or trainer Jim, like in his corner, and he was representing the Titans for a one-off against somebody. It was like,
I want a Rice Cake bootleg immediately.
But you start it with like somebody getting hit with like a loaded glove or something. And you're like, okay, and here's rice cake.
Bring in rice cake.
I got a guy.
Bring in rice cake to knock him out.
I'll send you my official list of celebrities. It's one of my favorite growing lists I have.
Nice. I might have to get in on this.
But anyway, sorry, I derail our conversation. This is why I'm sometimes, Jeff. They're like, I'd like to go to bed sometime tonight.
That's all right.
We should hit up our Mount Rushmore now.
Oh yeah,
which is the worst cartoon or anti-Rushmore, the worst cartoons that you watched growing up, or you were in the room with, or you knew people.
See, and I really struggled with this because, like I said, I kind of foreshadowed here. I didn't watch them if I didn't like them.
Same.
It was like one or two episodes. And I'm like, nah, this ain't for me, and I moved on. Like,
but see, I grew up in a household full of kids, so I would have to watch.
See, my sister was 7 years older than me, so if you want to talk about Mount Rushmore shows I had to watch, I didn't want to. We'd be talking like Days of Our Lives, like that's or Beverly Hills 90210.
I was just gonna say that one.
I'll start it.
Okay,
maybe that'll.
Okay, one Flintstones. I hated that show.
What? It's blasphemy. I'm hitting you with a yabba dabba doo every time I can now.
I was not a big fan of it. Just Scooby-Doo.
What? Oh, Scooby-Doo's the best.
Okay, this show is no longer Broc and Mike. It's Broc and Jeff and never Mike. You're out.
I was not a big fan of Scooby-Doo.
All right, I'm gonna ruin your list because I've got a photo aid here. This is a T-shirt quilt I have, and I swear, oh, yep, there it is. There is a Scooby-Doo T-shirt as part of it forever. If you can see it,
there it is,
right next to my Pillman '99 shirt. By the way, yeah.
Next one,
Scooby-Doo,
the Jetsons.
You're just listening to Hanna-Barbera.
He is. He's just
oh, sorry, but I that's what I grew up with, Saturday morning cartoons. Remember, I'm older than you guys.
This is a horrible topic. Why'd you even let him talk? I guess we have nothing to live up to now.
And then the last one will probably get you guys upset as well. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh gosh. I'm gonna go put on my Ninja Turtles shirt, my Rocksteady and Bebop shirt.
I will give you that. Like watching that show back, the Ninja Turtles cartoon is not that good.
No.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. I love it.
I think the later versions were better. Like the 2003 version was probably the best.
Nope. Watched them with my kids. Nope.
2012.
Original all the way. I want my Ninja Turtle VHS tapes to come free at Burger King with my kids' meal. That's what I want.
Those were good. I still have those somewhere. I loved it as a kid. Like I can't say that I hated it as a kid. I don't hate it now, but I can't get my kids to watch it.
I like that Casey Jones went in for a job interview wearing the mask, and
they never showed him without it.
I know. Also, the Jetsons is pretty much the Flintstones. It's just they went the opposite direction. They went prehistoric with the Flintstones and went Wells.
The Jetsons was a little darker.
And I dare you to find a cartoon other than Scooby-Doo that had the sweet music, the do. It always had the best like music to it.
Now, yeah, because they did take some actual rock songs and put them in during their chases. You could see, where they just run back and forth down the hallway.
Talk about celebrities. Scooby-Doo was chock full of celebrities.
I know Batman and Robin. They had the Harlem Globetrotters. They had the Three Stooges. Mace is gonna poke your eyes.
As soon as they dropped in Scrappy-Doo, I was like, oh,
that would have been fine. If you'd have said Scrappy-Doo, we'd have been like, okay.
Yeah, because that was a different show.
But how dare you?
Because that was what Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo.
How dare you?
I was not a fan of that show. What do you guys got?
Not a fan of you. Anyway.
Does Thomas the Tank Engine count?
That's a little more modern. Wait, is it the George Carlin or the Ringo Starr one?
Either of them.
You're a very bad engine, Broc.
That show sucks. It's so boring. It's the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life.
I didn't know we were gonna do more modern because
that's not even a cartoon. That's stop motion animation.
It's animation.
I thought we were doing like our childhood one, so because Caillou would definitely be on my list. If
Caillou sucks too. Why is that asshole bald?
At first, I felt bad hating that cartoon because he was bald. I thought, oh, he's got cancer, and they're trying to appeal to a certain demographic. Nope, they just didn't want to mess anybody up by like giving him any hair color. I thought it would offend somebody, so they made him bald. Like, The whiniest kid on there. Anyway, I'm sorry, Brock. Go ahead. I'm just gonna bow out now.
I don't even. This was tough. I couldn't think of any. Like,
Fucking Mike just ruined it for me.
I can't think of. I honestly can't think of anything.
I have a theory for Mike's list. He's in Canada. He didn't get him until the 80s because it's like 10 years later that they get our stuff. So it was. I don't know. I'm over it.
There were
Anything
so
else?
many good ones from that era, like
I
Tiny
only
Toons,
watched good.
Animaniacs.
I didn't turn on bad. Why would I do
Yeah.
that to myself?
Like you, my siblings were older, so I pretty much dominated the television when I was little.
No, there were always, because my mom ran a daycare. Like she worked for Children's Aid, so there was always kids at our place.
All right, I'm gonna. Brock, are you stumped? Then
I am like,
I'm gonna give my list because why the heck not?
go for it.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah, that
I
show wasn't that
vaguely
good.
remember.
I thought it was awful. She-Ra, Princess of Power. Loved He-Man, hated She-Ra. Thought it was god awful. Gargoyles, I never got into it. That's when they went into the dark.
Gargoyles is so good.
I liked Gargoyles.
You would. No, Brock, you stay out of this. Mike, you would. No, I think that if I was gonna go dark show, I go Batman the animated series. I didn't really care for Gargoyles. It was just, I don't know, the whole animation and just it wasn't for me at the time. Wasn't in that realm.
It was Disney.
Yeah. Wasn't really a big Disney fan back then either. I threw in a random Rubik, the Amazing Cube.
Never heard of that.
It was a real cartoon, awful.
Lasted like 8 episodes.
Yeah, it was on like when I was little, like I think I was 3 and 4 or something. And I'll give an honorable mention. I added this just for Mike because it is awful, and I'll give him that. A pup named Scooby Doo.
Yeah, yep, there you go.
When they did him as a pup and all the kids little, that was stupid. But
that's like Jim Henson's Muppet Babies.
That one wasn't bad.
I enjoyed Muppet Babies.
And you never saw the Nana. She always just had the green and white socks with the purple cardigan that you could see the tail of.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of ones that didn't like Tex Avery. I thought that show sucked.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was from my childhood. All right, I'm gonna try and make a list here. So I'm gonna put Thomas the Tank Engine on there, even though it's probably didn't come out till I was a teenager. It's a cartoon.
I mean, technically, Gargoyles I don't think came out till I was a teenager.
That was early '90s, I think, mid '90s.
Mid. I would have been a teenager in like '94 or so.
I'm gonna put
94. Boom.
X-Men Evolution on the list.
That's not the original, so
no, the original X-Men was so good, and then they followed up with that, and it was okay, but it's kind of a downgrade. I enjoyed Captain Planet.
The only problem with Captain Planet was the Indian kid with heart. The rest of them were legit like earth, wind, water, fire. Heart.
Heart was what pulled them all together, though.
Heart was honestly probably one of the stronger ones, but it just sounded so weak. It's like, no. Couldn't we call it like mind control or something?
Mind control?
Yeah, that's what it was. That make you feel something. Mm-hmm. He's basically a Care Bear at that point.
Oh, can we put Care Bears on the list?
Care Bears there.
It wasn't bad.
What was the non-Care Bears? But they were other animals, but they had the Care Bear patches.
The Care Bear cousins.
Yeah, that one's bad.
Yeah.
The lion.
I don't think it's worthy of the list, but
okay. Well, continue your list. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with. I'm trying to think of something like iconic that I just didn't really get into, but I can't think of anything. Like maybe how about Smurfs? Smurfs was kind of dumb.
I remember watching them when they first came out.
We did not own the rights to this music.
Smurfs is on the list.
They had so I live not too far from Kings Island. They had a water ride growing up that was Smurfs, and literally the whole time you go around it, it was la, 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 la. And I had the Smurfs War game. It was a card deck with war.
Nice.
Gargamel was the lowest, I'm pretty sure.
There's actually a town in Spain where they filmed the Smurf movie, and every house is still painted blue and white, and it's still in almost the entire town. That's where the tourism dollars come from. So it's actually a Smurf-based income, this entire town.
That's Smurftastic.
That's pretty good.
Spectacular.
All right. I don't mind Smurfs. I liked it when I was little, but
yeah,
I'm not as
more than
offended
4.
I'm not as offended with that one as I was with Mike's pick. So
I'll go with the Wacky World of Tex Avery,
okay.
Thomas the Tank Engine, X-Men Evolution, and Smurfs. Honorable mention. What was the spinoff they made of Tiny Toons? Oh,
They had a baby version.
yeah, I forget what it was called, but it just didn't have the charm of the original. But I don't know what it's called. So
My honorable mention would be DuckTales.
Oh shit! You're just trying to make us angry this time. Again, one of the greatest theme songs
did
of all
not
time.
like it.
Creepy as can be, with the Anyway, I'm Mike. I don't even want to do this anymore with you. I'm getting sick.
If we were to go with Disney Afternoon, Gummy Bears was leaps and bounds the worst show.
Oh, I loved Gummy Bears.
Oh, see, that
You
just tells
would.
it.
You're just trolling. Have you guys ever seen?
Compare.
Have you guys ever seen a troll in person? This is it. Whenever that guy comments on the internet disagreeing with your 100% accurate statement, look at Mike. That's it.
I even know the words to the song.
I know the Gummy Bears song. They're bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one wasn't bad.
No.
It's just hateful. It is a hard topic though, because like I said, I just didn't watch it if I didn't like it. If it didn't appeal to me, I wasn't watching it. I will say it's hard to go back and watch stuff like rock and wrestling because it's not their real voices.
Yeah.
There was one that I loved when I was little because it was Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, and Bo Jackson called Pro Stars, but it wasn't their voices. Like when I go back and watch them,
Stoner Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, it's really hard to watch now, but I loved them at the time. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, how dare you? Uncle Phil was Shredder.
He's dead.
R.I.P. Rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Mike hates you. Even after all the good you did by taking in your nephew through marriage, I might add. It wasn't easy to do.
It's true.
Anyway, all right. How did we get here from Mace and Wildcat?
I don't know.
But here we are. No one put Wildcat on here, or
Wildcats, the one that
they had Wildcats. Yeah.
Yeah, that show wasn't bad.
No,
I mean, it didn't really follow the source material very close because it was more.
Oh, the Jim Lee Wildcats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried watching that on Tubi.
Episodes of it.
Or more moderately, Wildcrats.
Yeah. Of the Nicktoons, I think my least favorite was Real Monsters. I think that one was lame. Doug was pretty lame too.
Oh, don't you start on Doug. Doug wasn't lame until Disney got him.
That's true. Disney
Doug was awesome
Doug.
on Nickelodeon. They ruined him. If you go watch Doug,
the Weekenders a lot.
If you go watch Doug, the first episode on Disney, they literally changed everything about the show. They start off with everything's different for me now. Oh,
why'd they even buy it?
One of the worst episodes of all time. I don't even think he was left-handed anymore. Quailman didn't exist. Roger Klotz had money. I don't even know what was going on.
Okay, we should wrap this up.
Sorry, you're seeing me vent tonight because I'm.
List your shows that you don't like below. And
if you agree with Mike, you're wrong.
And Thomas the Tank Engine is the worst.
Let's just start with that.
It sucks.
Thomas wasn't that bad.
It's boring.
I took my son to a real life Thomas because he liked it.
Oh yeah.
He was little. Yeah, we went on a real Thomas the Tank. We took a picture with Sir Topham Hat.
What a dweeb.
You're wearing a comics hat.
It's true.
It's his own.
Doesn't matter.
Not anymore.
It makes it even worse.
They fired me for COVID and haven't brought me back yet.
That makes it even worse.
It's a nice hat.
Anyway, wrap this thing up. Give your shout outs to all your people that actually know cartoons, preferably.
If you haven't done so yet, please click that subscribe button. We lost one. We're down to 163, so we have to start all over again.
This. If I'm not here, Mike gets to make takes like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry for the one follower that left. You'll resubscribe now.
Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. While you're here, scroll down to the description where you'll find all of our friends who make Filsinger Games related content, including the official Filsinger Games podcast roll-up, the Legends team's Uncharted Territory, Dizzy Dice from Lee Longpree, Grant Pachoco's solo promoter. You also find Grant here on YouTube, as well as Bucky749, Brad Plays 81, and Dave Little's Heartland Championship Wrestling. Also, I'm on Twitch. Kind of getting back in the swing of things on every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Did a card giveaway last night, which Mike won, so that was cool.
Don't send it now. Don't send it now.
For 400 followers, 400 finally hit 400 followers on Twitch. Kind of plateaued there for a while, so it was nice to get over that hump. Yeah, so check all that out. And we'll see you all next week.
Night, everyone.
Later.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.